will be like super casual conversation. Okay, start of Midnight Discovery, meeting number 3. If anybody wants to join Midnight Discovery, you can come down 5:30 Monday through Thursday, 2500 Sutherland Avenue, 37919. Most nights will be here, but you can check reddit.com/r/Midnight Discovery for up-to-date info.
So the news about Ethereum right now. So the big stuff we got going on.
Coke and beer
and coffee.
I'll go water. Water. Okay, yeah.
All right.
Be unique. You're right.
So the news we got going right now is a lot of people. So you got some down talk on Ethereum and you got some plus talk. So about Ethereum, let's just talk about the positives of Ethereum, okay?
Oh, hey, I got it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So the positives of Ethereum.
Here's some good stuff on Ethereum.
All right. So the positive of Ethereum is this. So what Ethereum is a blockchain. What is a blockchain? It's a ledger. So it's a big accounting ledger. So one block points to the point previous, and what they call is immutable blockchain. What does immutable mean? It means it just can't be changed, right? So that's why it's cryptography, immutable blockchain, a ledger. So if I get money from you on Ethereum, it's written on the ledger. Same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is considered a currency only. That's what it does. There are going to be 21 million coins made forever, and then they're thinking that's going to drive the price up, and everyone's going to hold Bitcoin. So what is the bad part about Bitcoin right now? Transaction fees.
Yeah.
That's a big problem with Bitcoin right now. The slowness of it, slowness of transactions. Is that really going to hurt Bitcoin or not? We don't know. I doubt it, because I consider Bitcoin to be more like a commodity, like a gold and holding. Mm-hmm. Is it really going to hurt it if I do a one-time transfer of a couple $1 million? Is that really? How long does that take? Not that long, but you know. Yeah. But I mean, I don't view it as an everyday coin, and I don't think Bitcoin does it. The thing they talked about is Segwix, the new thing for Litecoin. It's like this little program that's going to break down and speed up transactions per second. And I think now they have 25 transactions per second or something. Oh, where they were at 10, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to bring up something on that since we're talking about like current news stuff and right.
Well, no, I'm talking about what Ethereum has. Its positives and negatives are.
Oh, sure.
So the positives of Ethereum is this. So Ethereum is a blockchain, which is a ledger, and it's supposed to be immutable. But if you've heard of the thing called a hard fork, have you heard hard fork or soft fork?
Yeah, that one.
Hard fork means literally they go to the immutable ledger and change it. That's all a hard fork is. They change the ledger. People have to vote on it to say we want to change it or not. Depending on the percent of the coin you have, you can change it or not. So that the ledger can change. That's a hard fork. Vitalik has 60%? How much does he own?
He probably has about 20%.
20%, but he owns a large portion of Ethereem, so kind of what he says can kind of get voted on and happen. And that's what happened with the hard fork.
Okay, so the hard fork, people talk about Vitalik overruled everybody. He did not,
but he has a large portion.
That's not even why it forked.
Okay.
The reason it forked is Vitalik just said, I would not do future development on the other one.
Oh, okay.
So you had the option of finding a new programmer, which they did for Ethereum Classic, but that guy, I mean, he's okay, but Vitalik was better.
But what they said was, this is the reason the hard fork happened, okay? So there was a big DAO. A DOL, a contract. A DAO, all a DAO is a contract. Like we're all in a contract, and we put all our money in the middle. That's a DAO. That's all it is. And nobody can steal the money. We all have to vote to get the money.
Hey, first of all, since Eric's only going to be here for a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah, do you have any questions first? Let's do some of that first.
Well, I was just explaining Ethereum positive and negatives.
Oh, well, I'll just show. I'm just chilling and seeing what you're doing here. Okay. I'll come to another one.
We're talking about cryptocurrencies, and we're talking about Ethereum positive and negative. So, cryptocurrency Ethereum, this big DAO had $50 million worth of Ethereum. They got hacked. Yeah. And the reason they got hacked was because that contract was written bad. It's not Ethereum shit was bad, but the DAO contract was written badly, so they stole it. They stole $50 million. Vitalik knew this guy who ran it. They were friends. They were. So they voted to hard fork it, which was rewrite the ledger, give them back their $50 million, and take the $50 million from the Basically the hacker guy. He probably has 50 million of Ethereum Classic.
He has 150 million
of Classic, okay?
Because some people, just to be...
And then some people did not think that was right.
Yeah.
Because they said, if you fuck up writing your contract, you write a contract and
you're a loser.
A computer program. If you fuck up writing your computer program and don't check it, like test it for bugs and keep testing it, then guess what? You lost your money.
And a big benefit is that this is all relying on a computer code. You don't have to rely on man intervention. And so when man intervening, it's kind of undermining.
They don't want any of that. So what happens with Ethereum positives? It has more transactions per second. It's not considered a currency. It's supposed to be just a vehicle for getting transactions done. It's supposed to be the gas or the money to get transactions done. That's what it's supposed to be used for. It can write smart contracts, which smart contracts are those computer programs onto the code where it says A, C. So guy A does a job for company C, does job B for company C. And so when job B gets done, company C pays A. And it's written in code. Why is that important? Because that helps you out. Like, you don't have to escrow money. You don't have to put money over here. I don't know what you do, but I
do a lot of processing of POs and invoices, so I can relate to why it would be nice to not be doing that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's what Ethereum does. That's one of the big things it does. A smart contract where you don't have to do that.
Right.
And it just fucking says, the program says, oh, it got done, pay him. Okay? So that's a big thing for Ethereum. And the positives for Ethereum is this: you can't have an attack, a DDoS attack, or an attack on a server, where all you're trying to do is overload the server as much as you can, because it costs money for every interaction. So if you keep doing that on a continuous loop, it costs cents every time you do it, like 2 or 3 cents, maybe a cent or two. So by the time it's done it 1 million times, it may have cost you 60 grand just to do a hacker attack on something.
It's decentralized too, right? Even if you DDoSed one node, all the other ones.
All the nodes would be free, but it also costs money to go after somebody.
Yeah.
So if every time the computer goes back and tries to hard, just basically you could type it in a password. Let's just say it's typing in just brute force, just pumping at it.
Right.
This password, this password, this password.
Or trying to create account, create account.
Exactly. Everything. It costs a couple cents. So you can't do that anymore. Or it costs you maybe you could if you wanted to spend 100 grand on trying to DDoS attack.
You get your own field of solar power.
Yeah, basically. So then you have here the negatives are this. The negatives are this. Okay. So Ethereum's negatives: transactions per second, not that high. I think it's 30 or 40.
Yeah,
30 or 40 transactions a second. And we compare that to Visa or MasterCard, we're talking about 100,000 per second. Okay.
Yeah, like 200,000.
200,000 a second. So the transactions are slow comparatively worldwide. So these people thinking hey, we're going to spend all this money and Ethereum's going to be fucking fine. No, they're going to research and get it. Smart contracts are very infancy right now. There's only maybe 6 or 7 smart contracts you can do, like paying a person for doing job B, everyone multi-sigging or everyone signing for something to get the money out, where the money's just held here, where you can't just withdraw it. There's literally 3 or 4 contracts, smart contracts, able to be run right now. Everyone's doing research to figure out more and more we can do. Mm-hmm. They're talking about doing ones for supply chain, showing your supply chain on a blockchain, which means your supply chain would be on the blockchain, and then every time something was sent somewhere, that's where it would be on the blockchain. So it would show your entire supply chain all the way down. So if I sent you a good, it would show. I could have a record of every good I sent. And then on the blockchain, what you can do on the software, and by blockchain it's just a ledger. Just think of blockchain as a ledger. You can go on Etherscan or someplace and look for a transaction, and it's there on the blockchain. The bad part about that is the blockchain keeps getting bigger and bigger. So what happens is when you try to download or search through the blockchain, it takes longer and longer the bigger it gets. It's now about to reach 1 terabyte. Ethereum's blockchain.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not near a terabyte.
Do you know why? Do you know why it's probably going to reach it? They say? Because all these damn Ether wallet names keeps getting written to the blockchain.
Yeah.
Every single ETH wallet we've been buying.
Oh, like the ENS names?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So when you download the fucking blockchain, you're downloading the complete ledger on your computer.
Question, Theory?
Why couldn't they just start a new ledger with essentially annually or something?
That's what they're doing. So this is the way they may try to break this up. It's called noding. So here's the big old blockchain, and it's all right here, and it's on something, right? So what you do is you have a node. Say my company's right here, and I'm taking all these transactions in Ether, right? And then, every so often, I'm going to load it up to the big blockchain. That's what noding is doing. That's what they call a node, and they're trying to get it to work like that. So my company is, whatever company you work for is right here. We're doing all our ledgers here, and then maybe once a day we load it to the main ledger. You see what I'm saying?
And then you can just get the information that you need off the node that your information is on.
Yeah, your node is here.
The whole
yes,
ledger.
you just get your node, and then you just can load it up to the big ledger every day. So then it's there.
Do you mind if I cover some hot topics?
Oh, I was just saying positives and negatives of Ethereum. So that's the positives and negatives, kind of what it is. There's more to it. I'm not going to go into everything, but there's more to it. But that's like kind of the big things, kind of the big issues. So they're doing more research to get rid of the negative stuff. And, they're trying to always improve on what's good for them. Ether's gone up about $133 in the past week.
Yeah.
And it's gone down about 30 because it's resetting.
Yeah.
And the reason people believe it's going up and down so fast, one, is because certain markets have come in buying it, and also ICOs
So
are buying it.
That is true.
It's a little bubble right now.
Well, there's another thing that they do for the up and down, which is margin busting. So
Keller believes this, which they may do this.
They've mentioned it before.
I know, they may be doing this.
Yeah, they may be doing this. But in either case,
conjecture.
I'll just keep talking.
Yeah.
And so it's called margin busting. So if we were 100% confident that Ethereum was going to be 20% more a year from now, we could take our money, borrow 5 times whatever we got, buy a whole bunch of Ethereum, and we could get 100% return, even though it's only returned 20% for everybody else. We could get 100 if we were very confident of that. That's margin.
Basically like 5x leverage type.
Well, 5x leverage, and that's quite possible to do. And but these types of people, they basically make the price go wild because they're always margin buying, having to sell it all the next day, margin buying, having to sell it all the next day. So they make the price not good for everybody, and they also increase the price a little bit too high. So what the Ethereum Foundation, because they're aware of this, so what they will do time to time to bust the margin people is they'll basically drop the price really quickly, maybe hold it down for a day, and then bring it back up. And so when you drop the price really quickly, then all those margin accounts are forced to close. Because like if I was 5 times,
they're over leveraged, or they have program trading. That stops them out.
Well, it's not even that. But usually the people who they ledgers from will let them tell them that if you go below this if it goes below this certain point, you'll have to sell. And here's a
if it goes down usually 5%, then something about that, then they will lose everything, and.
Wow.
And they, if they don't want to close their position, then they'll have to invest more.
Yeah.
So what the Ethereum Foundation can do to bust all the margin people is create a spike down and then a spike back up. And so you can tell whenever it's the foundation moving versus a series of investors or an anomaly, because if Bitcoin and Ethereum move differently, like Bitcoin dropped 2 or 3 days ago and Ethereum did not, then that was a Bitcoin drop. But today, Ethereum and Bitcoin both dropped at the same time, roughly the same amount.
Right.
So
it's natural market, you think?
No. This was the foundation doing it. If Ethereum and Bitcoin and all the other currencies, because you can check Litecoin too, if all 3 are dropping at the same time, then that's a major player. It essentially has to be the Ethereum Foundation. It can be a few others, but they're the biggest in the market. And Ethereum Foundation, I know, does not only have Ethereum. They have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and all the others.
Yeah, they do.
So what they'll do is, whenever they need to expand, or whenever they need to bust the margin, people like, right now we're coming up on the China thing, and they can't tell you when they're busting the margin people, or would it be effective.
Yeah, that'd be super manipulative.
Yeah, so we're coming up on this China thing, So a lot of people are going to margin Ethereum because they believe after this weekend, when Vitalik makes the pitch to Ethereum to everyone in China, that some of them are going to say yes, and the price will go up quite a bit because there's a lot of money to be had in China.
Yeah.
This is what but the Ethereum Foundation has to bust the margin people first. So that's my opinion.
The reason Keller believes this, which there is some thought, is that a lot of these devs and a lot of these people really do not like margin buyers. They do not like profiteers.
No one likes margin buyers.
Yeah, and with us, well, I'm saying some people do. They just really don't care.
Yeah,
Well, the market devs are really after them.
They increase trading volumes, I think, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
They would increase trading volumes because if you basically give someone the leverage to buy 5 times as much,
Yeah.
it's 5 times as much coin.
Well, it just creates instability. That's
Yeah,
the
but
only
I'm
reason
saying,
I don't like it.
but like when we're talking about
And it's only effective because Ethereum's like really likely to go up. Like if you take General Electric, their margin buying is not a problem on General Electric because whether or not it goes up or down, it's not highly predictable.
Yeah.
But Ethereum's quite predictable, basically a year from now. I mean, come on. But anyways,
I think it'll be higher than lower, but
higher than lower.
Thinking the price for it a year from now is wild.
The price is different, but all you got to know is that it's higher. If you're 100% positive that it'll be higher, which most people think so, then you'd margin. Then the smart thing to do is to margin buy and get 100% return, even from a 20% gain in Ethereum.
Yeah.
But you run the risk if you get caught when they're busted.
Keller puts out a lot of numbers out as 100%. The reason is because you buy so much more without your money. That you buy so much more without your money that by the time you calculate all of it, you made like 100% instead of 10%. Like if I had
right, even after you paid back the loan. I get the idea.
So I'll just make sure
on your initial investment, you're getting 100%, not on the total amount you put in.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll pass this around.
So they're going to bust the developers, and the devs really hate that. Like a lot of them can't stand this bullshit.
So
they think this is a revolution.
Patrick mentioned some things about the throughput. Raiden, I believe, is the program that's supposed to increase the throughput.
Yeah.
So right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum have roughly equal throughput. Ethereum used to have almost double.
Yep.
Bitcoin was stuck at 15, and Bitcoin did something, and now it did something. Yeah. So now SegWits. I'm not sure if it's gone through yet. But they also did something in the middle.
Okay.
So now Bitcoin's like roughly the same speed as Ethereum in terms of throughput. But Raiden is supposed to get their throughput up from 30 to 85. And Raiden is going to be, the beta version of Raiden is supposed to be announced probably this month. The developer of Raiden, the guy who's in charge of programming it, he's asked people to write, the tech pages and the web pages and the promotion of Raiden and all this stuff. And then, now what will happen is Raiden is going to go only to the ERC20 coins, which are the ICO coins. So if you want, like WeTrust is an ICO, WeTrust is on top of the Ethereum blockchain. In order to have an ICO on top of the Ethereum blockchain, you have to first purchase an ERC20, and those coins used to sell for $60,000 each. They now sell for something probably around $200,000, $300,000 each. And these are the coins that allow you to have an ICO on Ethereum. Once you own one, you can just do it whenever, basically.
Yeah.
And so Raiden will be. So they're first going to make it tested essentially on the high-level network, and then they will try to. And then with Serenity, so a year from now, roughly, or a little bit more, they'll push it down to the lower, to everybody. And so that's when Ethereum will basically triple its throughput. I believe that's what Raiden does. I'm not absolutely positive on that, but here's the info on that, Patrick, if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
I'll just mention what Vitalik was talking about, are some things that Vitalik has commented on. They're talking roadmap to Ethereum, even though this is like quite old, and Vitalik didn't really give it much credit, and I think he's right on that. This guy was saying scalability of just distributed system. I don't think that's really relevant. Running untrusted code, I disagree with that. Complexity of network, I'm not sure about that. And Vitalik was on the forums, and he chose to respond to each of those points. And so He dealt with proof of stake. He said proofreading everybody's code. He did acknowledge that is a problem, but he thinks that they're doing okay so far. And then in terms of the last point, which dealt with complexity of the network, Vitalik essentially said Ethereum is trying to make their network really strong, so that all the little DApps that are run on top of it they don't have to worry as much. So whatever your base is, it has to be stronger than anything on top. Okay, and then here, one thing that I just wanted to point out, if people aren't aware of it, local bitcoins. So this is how you buy your bitcoins locally. This is something that might be happening at sometime in the near future, where people are like, "Hey, give me cash and I'll give you Bitcoin."
Yeah.
Hey, and then, for the people who are trying to skirt the government, nobody know, or the government would never know.
This is.
I just wanted to point that out.
It's been around for a while.
It's been around a while, yeah. But you can do it locally, which is kind of neat. But they ban the site sometimes. I don't think the government likes it. Now this is. So here's the good info coming up in Ethereum. This is the fundamentals page. This one. But on this one, some of the things that are coming up in Ethereum. Tomorrow, Ethereum has an entire room reserved for the Chinese conference. Bitcoin does not have a room. They just have a few people talking about Bitcoin, but Ethereum has a much bigger room in the convention area. Some more companies are going to join the Enterprise Alliance before the end of June. So within 2 weeks, some more companies are joining. Raiden, the thing I just mentioned, will probably be done in a couple of months and tested, begin its testing process. In September, that's roughly when Metropolis is expected to come out, and that's supposed to be, that basically is going to help reduce the deflation rate of the miners. Currently, the miners, the people with the computers,
it's $4 million a month, roughly.
400 million?
No, 4.
It's way more than 4.5 million. It's like
that's
400 million.
That's
the
mining.
Ethereum
Ethereum mining payout. Yes.
But in U.S. dollars, it's 400 million.
No. It's about 4 million.
It's way more.
Right now, per block, for every new block created. I'm not talking about transactions.
I'm just going to say, per month, in USD dollars, the miners are currently paid at least 200 million.
I looked at it. I did the math.
This is what Vlad said. And Vlad's the number 2. He's not the number 2, but he's the number 2 personality, and he works at the. He said it's
what
like 200 million.
What % do you think it's going to reduce by once they?
Well, with Metropolis in September, it will be reduced roughly in about a fifth.
Oh, okay. So it's not a big 95% one until
no.
The sharding.
Okay. Yeah. Metropolis, it'll probably 80% reduced, or whatever the case, from whatever it is today, and then Serenity in about a year, it'll be 95% reduced. But with Metropolis, it'll probably be roughly half the rate of Bitcoin. They're probably going to try to go for half the rate of Bitcoin in terms of the deflation rate. That's my wild guess on that. And then DevCon, I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's developer conference. That's in November. That might be the time when you start. If you're talking about a flipping. The flipping?
Yeah. The flippening.
Yeah. The flippening.
Yeah, they call it the flippening.
Yeah, the flippening is where people go.
The flippening is a lot closer now, considering when you look at Bitcoin price and Ethereum price right now, because it's really close.
Yeah, and the market cap is good. So
yeah, because it's all.
So by November, the flippening might have happened.
Is that when Ethereum overtakes Bitcoin?
Yeah. This is what you're pretty much predicting, right?
Market cap.
Yeah, I think by the end of the year, it's definitely very possible. I don't know. It kind of took a hit on that prediction today, but
sure.
Not really, it didn't.
Yeah, because Bitcoin went down just much.
We went down way more.
And this is why the Ethereum Foundation spread out their money in Bitcoin and Ethereum, so that they wouldn't constantly tank the Ethereum price whenever they sold.
Yeah.
But and then there's an investment fund in cryptocurrencies being launched in Europe at the end of this year.
Yeah.
and then the guy just says DApps. I mean, that stuff's kind of random, but
Right.
but the major players is the China thing this weekend is
Yeah.
going to be a big thing. When the enterprise stuff happens over the course of June, and when rating gets launched, which will come like in a couple of months,
Yeah.
those two things will be like relative. There'll be a slow build up because once you start seeing how powerful rating is, and people realize that like Ethereum's going to be 4 times faster or 4 times more information can be held in Ethereum than Bitcoin, then that's going to be a very, very strong selling point. And then with Metropolis is when you're going to see quite a big jump, I think. I'd be surprised if you don't see a 20% jump a few months after Metropolis has been like basically stabilized.
And so would you say, like, if you're a business, if you're a Fortune 500 company, the most attractive thing for the Ethereum Foundation is to basically take your business model and integrate the blockchain into it? Is that the biggest benefit, or like what
yeah,
are they
that's
trying
pretty
to
much.
do?
So with the biggest benefit is corruption of data. So a lot of people suspect that in a relatively near future, you won't be able to survive without using blockchain to protect your data from hack attack and other type of stuff.
Because it's immutable.
Yeah.
It's
Like
your information is always going to be the same.
We'll start ending up with like funny systems where like I'll just say Facebook or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You'll end up with the Facebook that's on
Blockchain,
the web, on the web, and then
Yeah.
you'll have the Facebook that's on the blockchain,
Yeah.
and then you'll start to see like over time quite a bit of difference between the two Facebooks,
Yeah.
and like what you're allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say, like because the Facebook is regulated by government, the blockchain can't be regulated basically at all, other than like the DAO type of stuff we're talking about, like maybe like 5 out of 6 people downvote your post, so it just disappears or something.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
But
that could happen. That really could happen.
yeah. So
Stupid,
like,
it's not allowed.
Yeah.
but like so like
This is the part where we get to where this could be, people believe it's a revolution happening. Where your shit can't be changed. It's immutable. It's decentralized, so nobody can control it. That's where the revolution. I'm not here for the revolution. I'm here to support it, and if revolution happens, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm here to make some money, and that's
Yeah.
what people are here for. I'm going to
That's
support. I'm going to support the
A lot of
revolution
people are.
part
Yeah.
of it too. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with like. I'm actually fine with people not controlling people's information. I'm actually happy with that.
yeah.
So
But that's not your main
the
goal.
whole decentralization is that all the information is held by everybody. Therefore, it cannot be controlled. It cannot be the one entity of Facebook saying,
Eric, you're out.
"Here you go."
Gentlemen,
Government can't read
I gotta run. You're
Yeah, that's
posting this?
yeah.
Well, yeah. How often are you going to be?
The plan is to meet basically every day, 5:30, Monday through Thursday.
All the
And it's true. I mean, other than the times we're out, we're not going to do makeup sessions or something. But so next Tuesday, 5:30, and then maybe Wednesday and Thursday.
See, I'm more of a. I'm going to try to get us to going to once a week to where we can go and stuff.
Well,
and
see,
do
the
stuff.
I'll do
problem
once
is,
or twice a week.
well, the problem
depending
is
on how I have
Patrick will call me and want to talk for 40 minutes every day if we do once a week. And so like now that we do these meetings, guess what? Patrick stopped calling me.
I did call him on an hour and a half every day and discuss everything.
Yeah, we did. We just and that's what you end up wanting to do. And
and things happen
in the market
on a
yeah.
quick. It's a quick time frame.
It's
so you don't want your episode to be like, oh, last weekend was crazy if you made this decision. You want it to be current.
And then also, if you want to build up something, like let's pretend we do want to we end up getting a bigger collective. We form a DAO. We throw out some mailers and make some money off the mailers. We try to get our own contracts getting written. Like if we want to recruit people. If we actually want to recruit people, we have to basically do it daily, because that's the only way you can allow a casual person to make it. But no offense to Eric or whatever. But if it was just
fuck Eric. No offense there.
No. If it was just Monday at 5:30, then the casual person, it might be a month till they actually make it to a meeting. But I was able to pester Eric all week, and 4 days later.
2 days.
2 weeks. But yeah, I was able to pester him over 2 days, and he made it, and it's on his mind today. Had we waited till Monday and had he never come to a meeting, who knows? But now that he's here, he's going to come back in.
And if Holly's car worked and I didn't have to pick her up from work, that'd be good too.
All right, cool, man. Hey, if you want to, go ahead and pop your contact info on that little pad if you like. If you want to be part of the Ethereum club.
It's nice to meet you, my man.
Boom, contact.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, gentlemen.
See you later, man.
I'll stop back by.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the local, what was it called?
Local Bitcoins?
Local Bitcoins. That's just tax-free selling of your Bitcoins. You still have to transfer them.
More or less. I mean,
withdrawals without withdrawal
well,
fees.
he's a tax guy, but we don't know.
You're always supposed to pay your taxes.
Yes.
But
you need to pay your taxes.
No one would know.
At 28,
I get it.
Usually, what we're hedging on is your taxes should be paid at 28%. That's what we're thinking the law is probably going to be.
Yeah, I don't know, but Patrick said it's either going to be the 60-40 law.
So how does
So we're saying if you pay 28% of your taxes on gains, you'll be safe.
But what were you saying?
You'll be safe.
Yeah. What were you saying, Eric?
Yeah. So is at the end of the year during taxes, do you just claim gains or losses?
Well, so
that depends on the law.
If you don't sell your,
if you don't sell, you don't have to.
Yeah, there's
if you're just sitting on it, it's whatever. But if you're withdrawing, like, how does it work with buying?
We would say if you withdrew, you should pay on gains. So not what you put in. So minus what you put in and what you made, then you have your gains. What you do to be safe would probably be 28% until the law comes out.
Okay, so what it's either going to be, either it'll be treated as a capital asset or it'll be treated as a more liquid asset. If it's capital asset, then it'll be long-term, short-term. So if it's long-term gain, like if you hold it for a year and then you sell it, then it's long-term gain, and the tax on that is virtually nothing. There is tax, but it's like 15-20%. But also, it's nothing. 15. It's nothing if you're in a low tax bracket.
Yeah,
which a lot of us would probably be in.
Yeah. What we're saying is to be safe.
But if it's treated as a more liquid asset, then what the law will say is they'll essentially say that you're liquidating every year, more or less.
Yeah.
And they will just say 60% is long term, 40% is short term.
Mm-hmm.
So the 60% long term, you still might not have any tax on that because we're probably in a low enough tax bracket to have much, if any. But for the short term, you will always have tax. And that will, if you're in the lowest tax bracket, it's 10%, but it could be as high as 30, 35 if you're in a higher one.
30, 35.
You know,
and what
the short term is just regular tax.
Yeah, and what was income tax. So whatever your income tax bracket is what you would pay on that. But to be safe, do 28%. And contact your tax official. That's what I would do.
There you go. There you go.
And how long do you think it would be before we actually start seeing legislature that?
Soon.
Right.
I think within a year.
Yeah, probably.
But then you'll just link your Cayman Island account.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll just, withdraw everything there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, let's be real about it.
We're having to see
what the hell's the point of a currency that's global?
I know. It's not in the Cayman Islands.
Some island somewhere.
I want to link 20 bank accounts from 20 countries, right?
You got to.
You got to currency manipulate while you're at it.
Oh, yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's in the news, man. But yeah, I don't know. Is there any? What would you like to talk about, man? More current stuff, like what we think Ethereum's going to do, more development stuff, or like
ICOs, or what we're going to do, so we can bring it down.
What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, what you thinking, brother?
What's current with Ethereum and kind of where you think it's going to go?
Yeah.
What
let it go. Let it go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's all good, man. It's just the medium.
What I think's going to happen? Mm-hmm. I think Ethereum's going to reach 1,000 by the end of the year.
I think he's probably well.
I said it was okay. So I'm going to tell you when we bought it. Yeah. We bought it probably when it was $10, and I'm talking to this dude, and I'm like, dude, it's going to reach $100, $150. And then I saw him like, hey, dude, it's going to reach $250, $300 in a couple of months. And then Keller's more pessimistic. I'm more optimistic. So you have to realize who's who.
Yeah.
I'm always saying, oh yeah, it's going to reach, so I'm going to buy this much and it's going to reach 150, 200 by the end of the year. I've read all this stuff. Here it goes. We're saying, I think 1,000 is reasonable. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying the 700-800 margin is totally reasonable.
Yeah, I think 700 is doable by the end of the year.
And Bitcoin would be almost tenfold that, so I'm saying that might be in the $6,000-7,000.
Yeah,
Maybe.
so-
I don't think Bitcoin will go over 5 by the end of the year, but yeah,
It
you never
could
know.
be
You know,
right
I think in a year.
A year, it's 6 more
I
months.
think in a year.
Yeah, in a whole year. 12
Yeah,
months
12
from now.
months. Yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it might be like 6 or something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too surprised if Bitcoin was 6 in a year. I really wouldn't be surprised. But like,
It's considered a commodity, so I see it as always it will go up. I
But-
feel it will.
when I think about my investing, there's basically what you could call it. I know will happen, or I feel extremely confident, and then there's I will just call it what could happen.
speculation.
The
Yeah,
speculation stuff. So like, because if you know something will happen, then you should always margin. Basically,
Yeah.
if you're 100% confident and you don't margin, you're essentially lying to yourself. You're not 100% confident. You're 80% or whatever. So like, what I am quite confident of, I think with I have a high degree of confidence that Ethereum will be twice what it is today 2 years from now. So 2 years from now, I have extreme confidence that it'll have 100% growth in 2 years. So then when you think about that, you look at your U.S. stocks and stuff, there's absolutely no chance in 2 years they'll have 100% growth in that. My cash, of course, will not grow at all in those 2 years.
Yep.
And then
1% with inflation.
Yeah, 1% with inflation.
Yeah.
And
But you
then-
actually lose
yeah.
1.5%. So
Yeah,
I
and-
can be guaranteed that will happen.
Yeah. so like, I will probably be trying to margin, but I always encourage more or less anybody who's thinking about grabbing Ethereum, go ahead, grab it, hold it for 2 years. And I just tell them that in 2 years it'll probably be worth 100% more. And if anyone says that they have, some people will be like, well, it could be a lot more. And I'm like, I don't care. I literally know of nothing that I can say with such high confidence that I have with Ethereum. I know of nothing that that anyone can tell me that it's going to be 100% more in 2 years with the degree of confidence I have with Ethereum. And if someone has a better investment choice, speak it. And that's great. And then you can debate it. But if nobody has a better investment choice, it doesn't matter if it's 200%, 300%, 500%, 1,000% return in 2 years, which very easily could happen. But it doesn't matter because it's just the best investment choice you have.
At this point in time.
Yeah,
there's
so
no other
therefore
opportunity cost. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no other option. So you just do what you know will happen.
The only options we're having is we're trying to, at this point, make money off of our Ethereum, which we already are just invested. But
Yeah,
we're
but
trying
the
to
ICOs
actually,
and shit.
we're trying to invest in ICOs that we think are going to be profitable. But
And
there's a
that's-
lot out there.
So yeah, I guess tell me a little bit more about that. Like, so if you get on the ground floor of an ICO, like,
Yeah.
what were you saying? How do you get 40 Ethereum as a return on an ICO?
What
yeah.
happens is, so we buy an ICO, and this is all speculation. People want to hold it. This isn't the proper way to do any ICO. I consider this to be kind of gambling and kind of speculative.
Well, yeah, this is speculative.
No, very, very. Let's just put that bluntly.
You read your white
It's
paper.
very-
your
yeah, you read the
intelligence.
white paper and you're like looking at it and you're like, I like it, so other people will like it. But what happens is, and here's the little board, we buy Ethereum and they'll price the coins like I said. So maybe the token sale, like one coming up, is about to be Tezos. So we're talking about Tezos. This is the one I'm going to invest in soon.
Okay.
So it's a token sale. So what are they selling? They're selling actual tokens. We're not selling. A lot of the other ones are like IPOs, and we kind of buy stocks, but we don't own in the company.
Yeah.
So they give us tokens to use on their DApp. A DApp is just like an app with, blockchain app, a blockchain area
Yeah.
built on top of Ethereum.
Yep.
So that's what a DApp is. A DApp solves a problem, and it's on top of the blockchain. So they write on top of the blockchain, so it uses Ethereum blockchain, and it's on top. So that's a DApp. A DApp will give us some kind of tokens that we can use on that platform as coins. It's just like
Yeah.
coins inside a video game.
Yeah.
You can buy stuff in the video game, and that's what it does.
And just to,
Yeah, go ahead.
in terms of like what's driving the value, so in that DApp, it will eat Ethereum, which will be paid out to the tokens.
Yeah.
So an example is WeTrust, and WeTrust charges an interest rate whenever you borrow money.
Yeah.
But that interest rate money does not go to the president of WeTrust. It goes to all token holders.
Yeah, it goes to token
so that's the
holders.
return.
So DApps have an actual. I mean, even
They
though
usually have an intrinsic way of making
Right.
money, like Bancor. You
Right.
heard about Bancor, right?
yeah.
I've heard that it was ICO.
It's an ICO. Okay, so the business model, the business plan is that it's a way of making Ethereum and Bitcoin and Litecoin very, very liquid. So you change your Ethereum into Bancor tokens, and then you can change your Bancor tokens into fiat. Sorry, into fiat.
No, you're
So
right.
Bancor tokens, this thing's out of right, into fiat, and when you go somewhere, you're using the Bancor DApp.
Yeah.
And then when you go to pay something, it'll quickly turn it into cash, and then you pay with it. And then if you're done with that area, maybe you're in Sweden, right, or wherever the fuck you're at,
Yeah.
you can switch all that fiat back to Bancor tokens, and then back to Ethereum or Bitcoin, or you can keep them as Bancor tokens, and then when you get back to the U.S., change it back to U.S. dollars.
And so that inherently makes the Bancor tokens very liquid, yeah, because they.
Yeah, very, very
allow
liquid.
all
But
these
what they were
conversions.
saying is, so their little business model to get you is that other tokens would be created, like Knoxville. I'm not going to say Knoxville, but let's just say we'll do it more reasonable, okay? We'll say Greece.
Oh, Greece. Okay, yeah.
Greece makes a token for all of Greece because they're like.
Oh,
fuck these
Singapore is
guys.
doing this already.
Singapore is possibly doing this. So
yeah, Singapore
Bancor
and Russia.
So Greece will make a token on Bancor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then their token will be called the GRE, and they'll call it the Greco coin, okay? So every time someone creates a coin, everyone who holds Bancor fucking gets paid. You get an interest out of it, okay?
Yeah.
So they're saying Bancor will say that all these people are going to create local economies with tokens, and to switch back and forth to these local economies will be a Bancor token. And then that Bancor token can be switched out anytime, directly, and back and forth, and back and forth. And what they're going to do is try to keep this one, Bancor tokens, very, very stable, and then they'll be switched back and forth if you want it to ETH or Bitcoin, right? So you can play the market, but whenever you need money, you just switch it back to Bancor token, and then now you're paying for coins in either fiat, if you want,
Yeah.
or you can be paying with the area's currency, which the United States might have. I doubt our government would be like, hey, fuck the dollar, we're going to go to this. Yeah, I know. But then you could pay, you could transfer it to fiat, and that would be on your phone, fiat.
Well,
dollars.
sooner than you think.
They may,
the dollars will.
They may.
Well,
I'm going to say they
I-
may.
yeah, but sooner than you think, dollar bills and such will go to blockchain. Just sooner than you think.
Okay, well, I agree, maybe. But that's how Bancor's business model works. Bancor tokens is what you get, and then this is what happens. So now, Bancor, if you bought Bancor tokens in this ICO, they actually went to your Ether wallet immediately. Went to your Ether wallet. This DApp isn't even created yet. It's in its beginning stage of development. They have a plan, and they'll say Q1, 2017, all the way out to maybe Q1, 2019. I didn't really look at when they're going to make everything, but they'll have steps along the way. Have you seen Kickstarter before?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Have
Progress
you seen the progress things on it?
Yeah.
Same thing with this. So they do Bancor, maybe 2019 will be fully fledged made. But everyone received their Bancor tokens in their Ether wallet now. So now you can go on Poloniex or Bitrex, and I don't know if they actually got into your wallet immediately. They say they do. I didn't know because I didn't do it. I tried to, but it got fucking hung up. So I could go on there, and Bancor tokens will be traded at whatever. Maybe it's 100 per ETH, right? Per Ethereum. And I bought it, they were selling at 100 per ETH, right? No. 1 ETH gave you what? I don't know. Maybe 1 ETH gives you 500 tokens. I can't remember what the sale was.
Did you buy some Bancor?
I was trying to, but it fucking locked up on me. So
shit.
now 1 ETH gave you 500 tokens. So now on this trading, because everybody wants them because it only lasted for a fucking hour, people think these Bancor
Did it
tokens
go
are
up a
going
lot?
to be worth. I don't know. I haven't even looked at it.
Yeah, me either, because I don't own it.
So 1 equals 500. So you bought 500 and you have 500 Bancor tokens. And now on this trader, they're selling for 100 Bancor tokens equals an ETH. So you put in 1 ETH, but now you actually get 5 out of the deal.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you get like
So yeah, you do
500%
that,
return.
500% return.
In
in
like almost
hours.
instantly.
Yeah, instantly.
And
That happens.
And that's just the supply and the demand of what
Yes,
they trade for on
yes.
these
Well,
exchanges.
pull on
That's-
X, yeah.
and so one thing that you want
But we don't know what they're worth. But
So-
you can easily do this.
They're
where
worth
you-
whatever
what
someone
you
will pay
want
for.
to
Exactly.
look at in terms of these ICOs is like a lot of these ICOs,
You can go
it
for the
will be
long
very
term.
complicated to try to get into them.
Yeah.
And the more complicated it is to get into them, the greater the return. So if it's like open to the casual market or whatever, then the ICO will probably raise a lot of money, and then the return might not be like super high.
And this-
But if the casual market is not prepared to do it, then the return could be
Right.
greater, and then
So-
also the better the development.
This is what we got. We got.
Really?
We got.
Yes. The development team's a huge deal.
If you watched my little
Well, the
video,
development team are usually like programming people
Yeah.
and not marketing and business people.
they're not. Yeah, usually.
So they don't really think, they always,
Smith
I
and
will say,
Crown.
I'll be honest, they always make these like weird, complicated rules, and they're like, in order
There are
to participate,
some people that
they're
have
so weird.
complicated ideas.
They'll always be like, in order to participate in our ICO, you need to download a special piece of software that no one has, and you have 45 minutes to purchase it on Monday
Okay.
at 7:30.
Okay,
And
okay.
you're like,
This is how
okay.
it goes. This is how it really goes.
That's
down.
not going to raise a lot of money.
There's
I
some
will buy
timers.
it.
There's
Yeah,
some
exactly.
timers. So you go to the Smith and Crown. you
I've
can
seen
look-
that site.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
you
I've
go
seen
through the
ICO.
ICO. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you go to the ICO website. Okay. Then you tell it to alert you when the ICO is about to start, or you put it in your
Okay.
damn Google Calendar, which
Yeah,
I put it in my Google
that's what I
Calendar.
need to
right?
do.
Yeah.
I
And then
want to start making
I
my
told
calendar
Keller about
for
this
ICOs.
one. Like he's
Yeah.
like, "Are you thinking about Bancor?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's starting in 33 minutes."
I
'Cause
know, I knew it
exactly
was
when
going that
started.
day, but I didn't
I
know
know
it was
exactly when it
yeah.
starts. It lasted for I think 3 hours and 10 minutes. 3
Yeah.
hours 10 minutes, and the only reason why is that because it got so clogged. It was only supposed to happen for 1 hour.
Oh my
That's how
god,
they
these
do
guys
it.
are nuts.
It got so clogged. Well, they have a hidden cap usually.
Right.
Over here, it's hidden,
Yeah.
and they'll say it's like fucking 200 or like.
They
theirs was
they
like
want to make sure
75 million or
everyone
something.
gets paid. If the investors get screwed in an ICO, then that's real problematic.
Yeah, 75 million. They want to get hidden caps. So 75 million. And then they'll say, once our hidden caps reach, you will have like an hour or 2 hours or 6 hours until
Yeah.
completion, or 1 hour,
Yeah.
or they'll say like 10 minutes, or they'll just say it's over, which is
Yeah.
what they said. They said 1 hour, unlimited investing, but if we reach our hidden cap, after that hour, it immediately ends.
So
Oh,
they
that's
just want to
interesting.
raise X
They
amount of
reached their
money,
cap.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
So they reached their hidden cap in 1 hour, and then since it got very, very clogged, the Ethereum blockchain is what happened, because it can only translate how many transactions? Like 30 a second?
yeah.
There were so many transactions that it got bogged down.
Oh, so
things
this
didn't
is when
happen.
Ethereum beat Bitcoin in terms of their transactions that day.
Yeah.
Ethereum had more transactions on their blockchain than all of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah, it was
because
because
of
of
this
Bancor.
ICO.
Got
Because
so
Bancor.
bogged down, they had to hold it longer. That's what we're talking about.
Bancor
Transactions
essentially
per second.
maximized the transactions per
So,
second.
like, literally,
for a
I
fucking
tried to
hour.
get in there, and it took 37 minutes for my transaction to be completed. And since it was after it closed, my money did not complete, and I got my Ethereum back.
Oh my god, it sucks.
That's what happens, but it's
Oh,
okay.
man.
It doesn't matter.
But
So is this because the exchange wasn't unable to
It wasn't
process
an
your
exchange.
request?
That's
Or is it actually like
blockchain.
blockchain?
That's blockchain.
Oh, okay.
Like the 30 something a second, it couldn't
Yeah.
contemplate the blockchain. That's
So-
what I'm saying is like it matters. These are the down things of Ethereum, but they're
yeah,
trying to
and
improve it.
Bitcoin too. But yeah,
And Bitcoin, but we are in the very beginning where they're fixing these problems, so it's not worldwide
Yeah.
adoption. So that I view that as a good thing because we're here before it is worldwide adoption, and it's gotten so
fully agree.
good. And
I
I
fully
feel that
agree.
yeah, we're gonna have to deal with bugs, we're gonna have to deal with shit,
yeah.
but
You get on the ground floor.
And,
Yeah,
and we
that's
can
what we're
grab these
talking about.
ICOs before the big money comes in.
Yeah.
Because once the big money starts pumping all the ICOs, it's like, how much money can you make doing what everybody else does? Well, that's the stock market.
Yeah.
You make
Yeah.
10%. Whenever you do what everybody else does, the best you can do, which is quite good, 10% is great, but if
and that's only we're not even sure that's gonna last forever.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Well,
Probably like
sure.
2007 or something.
Yeah,
Well, I guess
yeah.
lately, yeah.
Yeah, but I can just say
long
10%.
term, yeah, 10% long term, yeah.
But if you start your own development, like if you do your own little things, then you can gain more. You can get like 30%, and then if you like these ICOs, this is kind of a whole different issue in terms of getting 100, 1,000 in percentages, but whatever.
We don't contemplate the
Yeah, I mean that's getting a little bit ridiculous, but there you go. Like
so,
for investment ICO, what you're supposed to get as an investor, you're supposed to get like 50%
and you're
return
supposed to be
roughly.
holding it. So the next one we're gonna hold
return a year is great.
We're gonna do Tezos.
We're gonna do some Tezos.
Tezos, all right. Tezos is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's a token offering. So this one's not an app. It's actually going to give us a token.
It's a Bitcoin type of thing.
A Bitcoin type of token. So it's going to give us a token. Things we like about it. It does proof of stake immediately, which means whenever you
own smart contracts.
And smart contracts. So whatever you own, proof of stake is this. So if I own 15, and proof of stake is 10% through the whole blockchain, right? That's how much coins you create. So I can control 15. Every year, if I stake my coins, I'll get 1.5 coins per year.
And so the idea with Tezos is that
proof of stake is nice. We might be able to just stake our coins and just
Ethereum
make money off of them.
Ethereum is not going to
make more coins.
Ethereum is not going to go to proof of stake fully for roughly a year.
A year from now.
And then also, a lot of people think the miners will sabotage it and basically fight the Ethereum founders the whole time. We've already started to see that with some miners who have received lots of Ethereum while they've been mining. They've been doing things to destroy the Ethereum network. And they periodically the miners will go to more extremes than people realize in order to stop proof of stake happening. And then also Ethereum is so big, the transition is going to create a lot of stress in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
So Tezos is going to essentially start with nothing, but go to proof of stake immediately, so that there's no miners that can fuck with it.
Yeah.
And more or less, it'll be like a little bit of a testing ground for about a year for Ethereum. But on the other hand, if the proof of stake is so popular, Tezos could take off real quickly.
Yeah.
You don't know.
And what this one's going to be...
I think proof of stake will be freaking amazing for the blockchain. So
we think it's going to be good because the people who hold the coin and keep holding it and don't trade it all the time, because we don't trade it, really.
We don't trade it.
We just kind of invest in other things that we think are good.
Right.
And the cool thing about ICO investment is go with ones you believe and things you're interested in and you believe in their project is the best way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to sell them real fast, we've done that.
Yeah,
I mean,
or you've done that, I have.
Yeah,
it's risky, I wouldn't.
So the one thing we got here is we got, so we're talking about Tezos. Tezos is going to be a Bitcoin. They may trade this, but Bitcoin equals, 6,000 Tezos?
Some shit like that,
6,000 Tezos.
But now that founder, he's still developing it,
Yeah,
but he's been a little bit AFK for a little bit.
Yeah.
He might either,
They're pushing it through Sweden, so I don't know.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, I told you the cryptocurrencies are getting pushed.
Sweden?
They're in Switzerland.
Sorry, I knew that.
Switzerland.
Wait,
that way the regulation.
It's regulated.
Yeah. You only have to know where the money's going, not where it came from.
Yeah. Well, Swiss law.
Yeah.
Swiss law trumps every other national law, which is kind of funny. It's weird. Like, if the U.S. wants to do things, our laws don't apply to Switzerland, but their laws apply here or something. It's weird. So these global currencies, they're all trying to get started out of Switzerland because no country can mess with Switzerland.
And banking, maybe. And banking.
Well,
they're pretty much, they're the international, I read that like North Korea was going through them for that, that guy that came on in the coma or whatever, they were negotiating him through Swiss translator.
You always go through the Swiss, man.
So the one Bitcoin will be worth 6,000 Tezos, and it'll be a proof of stake. We've read the project. You'll hear a lot of bad talk about them because they're taking, I think, 10% just to pay themselves initially.
Yeah.
That leaves 90%. I think the coins to us, I'd have to read the white paper again, I think it's 60% to, and people they want decentralization. So this gives you more decentralization. Right?
One thing that's funny about the Tezos in terms of like their biggest development challenge,
and it's uncapped as well. So people don't like that. That means there's not a cap on coins at the beginning. Uncapped.
Yeah, that means that the developers can keep releasing coins.
Well, just at the sell.
Well,
yeah.
So one thing with Tezos versus Ethereum proof of stake, and Ethereum proof of stake in the current model, it's just a yes/no question, and pretty much everyone says yes. In Tezos, it's going to be much more of a dialogue question. and then also more. Just essentially, there's going to be a lot of damn voting, and it's
Well,
going
there's
to be
supposed to be a lot of voting in Tezos.
Yeah, a
Tezos.
lot of freaking voting.
We're
in
supposed to
Tezos.
be voting on stuff to get
Like
the blockchain.
constantly.
Yeah, to get the blockchain better. But what you can do is you can stake your coins to someone. This is the whole point. You stake.
Yeah.
You stake. And people will like vote for you. And you could probably. And what I'm saying is you could do Tezos. It's called Tezos. But you could give your vote to whoever. It could be a developer, whoever they want to.
So in terms of the...
You could literally just say your vote with them.
And in terms of like the cap or
And you
whatever,
can do it.
it's uncapped, but if people vote and just say no more Tezos, then there's no more Tezos. That's the type of things that you can vote on in Tezos. Whereas Ethereum, that's not what's up for decision.
Yeah, that's not at all.
And
Like they could have Tezos sale, and then we could all vote that there will never be made any more Tezos.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
They will never. Supposedly, they're supposed to follow that.
Well, but the developer, like you mentioned,
They'll own a lot.
Well, he's
Yeah.
essentially going to keep 60%, I think, and so essentially he will control the vote.
No.
initially.
They have like 30%. So they'll keep like 30%,
yeah.
and like another 15% will be given to people who are like-minded them,
Yeah.
who will vote the same.
They're
Which I don't find.
essentially going to protect the vote for like at least 6 months to a year.
Yeah. So you can't just get retarded with it. Like everyone's voting like, hey, let's never make a Tezos again. So now everybody's Tezo value would go skyrocket. It'd be useless as anything else.
Yeah, it'd be useless. Yeah. Hey,
so it wouldn't have any development behind it, but it would be a
let's
coin.
vote. No more votes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Basically, just
You can destroy the system.
Yeah, you could destroy the whole reason that Tezos and these other things would be required for decentralized banking and decentralized tokens. You could say, hey, no more Tezos can ever be made. As soon as that happens, somebody owns 1 million or 2 million
When
of
you
them.
started calling Tezos the genie coin.
Yeah, and then 1 million or 2
Unlimited
million
votes.
of them, and then everything goes up, tenfold because they're never making it anymore. And now people are like, it's valuable. And then everyone dumps it all, and then it's worth shit.
Because it's zero.
Yeah, I mean, that's because you never know when these big whales are going to dump their coins. And then that would shoot it into a tailspin, and all the Tezos
You always want the whales to like
be outweighed by the numbers, the numerous
Yeah,
people.
you do, and you hope that they'll just drip their coins off. But most whales seem to want to sell all their coins at once and then buy something else. They don't just drip, 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 buy something else, drip, drip, drip. They just go sell everything, buy something else.
Well, yeah, it will push the currency down. Like, so if they sell something, it's going to push, like, say they sell Bitcoin and buy Ethereum, it's going to push Bitcoin down, going to push Ethereum up, and so then if they wanted to basically rinse and repeat, they could just keep doing it with money.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. That they could do, but see, with Bitcoin, they don't own enough Bitcoin. Like,
no one owns enough Bitcoin to, like, super fuck with the Bitcoin.
Yeah, to move the price enough.
The person who probably owns the most is the Ethereum Foundation. Of the people I know.
That makes sense.
It's the Ethereum Foundation, and there's also like a big investment group. There's like one, like the DAO or whatever, which was a huge investment group. There's another one called like GTX or whatever.
Yeah, I know that
And
like
they own a whole ton.
Gavin Andreessen and those programmers, I'm sure they
Gavin
have a
Wood,
bunch. Yeah. Well, that's the Ethereum, but like I think Andreessen's for Bitcoin.
Oh, does he program for them, Andreas?
Does he? I think
he's the spokesman at this point.
Oh, he does. He's not actively coding. Okay.
Well, I don't know if he's coding, but cause
I don't think anybody is. They're basically at a standstill. It seems like.
Yeah, they have like little coders, but